follow car number 21. Go, go, go. Right side. Still there. Clear right. Car right. Right side's clear. On your right. Car right. Still there. Still there. Still there. Clear right. Car right. Car right. He's still there. Still there. Hold your line. Still there. He's still there. Clear right. Left side. Clear, car left. Clear left, left side. Hold your line. Clear left. Side. Still there. Hold your line. Still there. Still there. Clear left. Car left. Clear left. Car right. Right car left. Hold your line. Clear left. 17th place. You're clear, car left. You're in the middle. Clear left. Car right. Still there. You're still there. Clear all around. On your left. Clear left. inside, clear right. Car left. Still there, clear left. Fastest lap for Decker, 156.86. Gap to Higgins behind is now 0.6. Do the work. Come on man, send it already. It's pretty slow through turn 10. Just done a 156.70. That's a new fastest lap for Decker, 156.44. Car in front of lap time is at 156.79. New fastest lap for Higgins, 156.35. That was a 156.70. You're a tenth off the pace in sector 1. Okay Ryan, just cut the track. right. Hold your nerve, just keep it smooth, no mistakes. Go faster than us into turn 1. On your left, clear left. Left side, clear left. Car left, clear left. Yellow flag. You picked up some minor aero damage. Green flag, you're clear. You're locking your front going into turn 11. Behind is now 2.2. minutes of fuel remaining. Distracted, defend your position. 2 minutes left, 2 minutes to go. Clear left. P17 as the finish. Well done.
AC Wheels started as my college project, and we now sell our wheel covers all around the world.
Hello and welcome to another track guide in the HIMO track guide series. This time around we're at legendary Nürburgring. One of my favorite tracks, obviously Spa is still number one, but Nürburgring is for me right up there. In ACC, Nürburgring was the very first track we got. In the first build of the game we had Lamborghini Huracan and Nürburgring, so that was the track where you could experience ACC for the first time. It's a very well known track. It's been in so many racing games and simulators, and in the world of motorsport it's such a famous venue, Nürburgring, especially known for Nordschleife. Unfortunately in the game we only get the Nürburgring GP layout for the licensing reasons. Everyone would love to have Nordschleife in the game, but unfortunately that's not possible. Nevertheless, the Nürburgring GP layout is still a very interesting circuit, full of technical sections that require a lot of skill and a really well set up and balanced car. LFM this week is on Nürburgring. If you want to have a nice setup, you can head over to tracktitan.io. We have there all our HIMO setups. Recently we introduced safe setups for all the cars we're offering setups for, and the game itself had a little update, so Porsche and Honda got tiny changes. We took an opportunity to update all the setups for both the Honda on tracks that got affected, and for the Porsche I'm redoing all the setup for all the tracks, so in a very near future entire Porsche bundle would get updated with all newest up-to-date setups. Check that out, links are in the description. But without further ado, let's talk about Nürburgring itself. Let me take you for a tour around the lap with a time of 1:52.4. Turn 1, we start off with a hairpin and the biggest braking zone on the track after the main start-finish straight. The braking zone itself is after the king, so keep as much to the left side of the road, and just before the braking zone change your trajectory, so we're gonna prepare for braking on the outside parallel to the curb after the king. For the braking reference here you can use the exit road on the left as well as the 100-meter board. You're gonna be braking right after you pass those. Straighten out the car and brake parallel to the outside curb in a straight line. For turn 1, 2, 3 and 4 I'm keeping a lower brake bias to help me with braking and low speed rotation. After you pass the 50-meter board you can slowly start to point the car towards the inside and start trail braking towards the apex. You can spot the apex quite easily as there is a red and white bollard. Watch out, on the apex there is gonna be a big dip where the car is gonna drop. You want to make sure majority of the rotation is gonna be done before the car lands. When it lands and settles, go straight away on the throttle and release the steering to the outside, but then don't go fully all the way to the left hand side curb. Transition the car straight away to the right hand side of the track as you want to open up turn 2. It's not necessary to go all the way to the right, as there's quite a lot of grip in the middle of the corner. You can see where the rubber is laid here on the corner. That can give you somewhat of a reference where the grip is gonna be and how much you need to open up turn 2. Here a lot of people struggle and leave a lot of time on the table. The corner is really long and it's also blind. It's very difficult to spot where you should go on the apex, where you should go on the throttle, where is really is the exit. If the track is rubbered up, for the reference you can see where the rubber finally is laid on the white line on the inside of the corner. When finally it gets darker, that's where you want to apex the corner. So from the entry, slowly add the rotation all the way to that apex as you're slowing down. A common mistake that people do here is they don't look far enough into the distance for the references. So they're going into the corner and then they're cruising through the corner with a stable speed, not accelerating, not decelerating, and they're just looking for the references, but they're losing tons of time because they're not using the potential of the car. You need to look far into the distance for your references and attack the corner, slowing down deep into the apex, and as you hit it, then straight away start accelerating back, smoothly going on the throttle, releasing the car to the outside. Again, the exit is going to be difficult to spot, it's kind of blind, there is a little crust, so look deep into the distance for that exit and you're going to spot it. As you're coming over the crust, you're gonna see the red and white curb on the outside. You want to aim at it and release the car to the outside of the road to that curb and drive over it. Since you're going over that crust on the exit, watch out because the car can start sliding a little bit with the rear end as you're approaching that curb. Throughout the entire exit, apply the throttle smoothly and progressively. There are not gonna be many places at Nürburgring where track limits will be an issue, but this is one of them, and as always the track limits are gonna be the track plus the red and white curb. So as long as you have 2 tires, the inside ones on that red and white curb, you're gonna be all fine. Now turn 3 entry. You can see here on the right side where the green AstroTurf ends. Before it ends, that's the point at which you want to drive off the curb and start braking a diagonal line from the outside of the corner all the way to the apex. The apex of turn 3 is way deeper than you think, as the corner itself is very long and tight. Try brake as deep into the corner as possible. Watch out for the rear snapping if you're still running with a very low brake bias. The next big acceleration zone is gonna be the exit of turn 4. So here the exit we're gonna use just for preparation for the entry to turn 4. As you're on the apex, you can go aggressively on the throttle and rotate the car at low speed, keeping the car very tight on the exit. As you're driving off the inside curb, straighten the car entirely and focus on the entry to turn 4. Here is gonna be an almost immediate transition as you wanna turn in quite early from the very outside of the track. You're gonna be able to cut quite a lot of the inside curb, so aim the car in a way that your outside tires will just drive around the inside curb. Get the rotation done before you go over the curb, so go off the throttle to load up the front tires, make the car bite into the corner, and then just before you're gonna cut the curb, go on the throttle to help it climb it and straighten out the steering slowly towards the exit. There's still gonna be some rotation that has to be done as you're accelerating, so watch out for the rear snapping. The exit of turn 4, here another place where track limits are gonna be an issue, and here the track limit is gonna be that little piece of green AstroTurf at the very end of the curb, and where that AstroTurf ends, that's gonna be the reference to how wide you can go. If you want to use all the track to a centimeter, that's what you're gonna go for a reference, but the easiest way here is to just use the white line and then don't go with your inside tires over that white line. If you're using lower brake bias for the first stadium section like me, here you can maybe go back with the brake bias, couple of clicks up. Next corners, here the stability is gonna be now the priority. Position the car on the right side of the road now. You can see that on the outside past the white line there's a little bit of concrete. You can use that. You can see here in the replay there are the red cones, but they're probably gonna get knocked over by cars going over here during qualifying or race. So those cones are not gonna be here anymore. You can easily drive over that concrete just to open up the turn 5 as much as possible, but you're gonna only use that to position the car in a way that the corner is as high radius of a corner as possible. Before you go on the brakes, get off that concrete because of the shape of the track. If you would be still on that concrete and go on the brakes, you will actually bottom out. You need to exit that concrete, position the car already pointing left towards the corner, and then initially brake 100% in a straight line. You can see here the point at which 2 different kinds of tarmac meet. That's gonna be your reference to the for braking. When you see that line as 2 types of asphalt meet, that's where you brake. Initial hard deceleration in a straight line going towards the middle and the inside of the corner. The corner is cambered here quite a lot, and you want to use that camber to rotate you around the corner. Watch out, because as you're gonna be going off the brakes, you are gonna get into that camber, the car is gonna bite, and you're gonna have to watch out for the stability, as the car is gonna want to rotate quite a lot here. Patient here on the throttle, the closer you are to the exit, the less of that camber there is, and overall you'll feel less grip. You don't want to overdo it here on the exit, as that's gonna compromise the next one way too much. Open up turn 6 ever so slightly, and here really good and deep trail braking is gonna be required. It's one of those corners where spotting an apex is really difficult, but it's also difficult to get any sort of reference for it, similar to turn 2. The corner is quite long and you need to wait a bit until you get to the inside of the track. The track all the way from turn 5 is still here going down the hill, so you're gonna struggle for traction. Look for that late apex and be patient on the throttle. When you finally hit the inside of the corner, go on the throttle and release the car to the outside. You can use all the curb on the outside. The exit curb is quite wide, which will allow you to go on the throttle ever so slightly earlier than you would think. Now stick to the left as you're approaching the hairpin. Here try to spot a big wide concrete curb on the outside of the corner, on the outside of the braking zone. You're gonna use that as your reference and you're gonna hit the brakes when you're around 2 car lengths before that huge wide curb on the left. Initially hit the brakes in a straight line, but then quite early you can slowly start pointing the car towards the inside of the corner. The hairpin here is gonna be cambered quite a lot and you want to use that camber, and you're also going for a double apex, so you're gonna be entering the corner at a very high speed and bleeding off the speed throughout the entire entry all the way to the middle of the corner. As you're slowly getting towards the first apex on the inside, start trail braking, and you're gonna keep on trail braking all the way to the middle of the corner as you're slowly opening up the second part of the corner and the exit. You're gonna want to end up somewhere in the middle of the road, and right as you stop braking and decelerating, go straight away back on the throttle. If you trail braked here nicely and the rotation was done early, and you maximize the usage of that camber of the road you get throughout the entry,